September 12th, 1952, Flatwoods, West Virginia. A bright object falls from the sky. A group walks up the hill to investigate, and minutes later, they run back down, terrified, because they say something was waiting for them.
And what they described doesn't match anything familiar.
Tall, glowing, gliding. They would call it the Flatwood Monster.
But tonight, the question isn't just what they saw, it's this. Did they encounter something real, or did the mind turn uncertainty into something real?
Welcome to Monsters and the Mind. I'm Joseph. I study cryptids, folklore, and the strange stories people tell about creatures that may or may not exist.
And I'm Igor. I'm a cognitive psychology professor at Indiana University, South Bend. I study perception, memory, and how the mind decides what is real.
Each episode will explore a famous cryptid encounter
And the psychology that might explain why people experience what they do.
at 7:15 p.m. across multiple states. Many see an object, fiery, cross the sky. From Maryland to Pennsylvania to West Virginia, dozens of witnesses.
So this part really matters. Something really was there.
Most people believe it was a meteor, but in Flatwoods, two brothers watched it descend toward a nearby hill. They believed it landed, and they ran home. The boys tell their mother, Kathleen May. Soon, a group forms. Kathleen May, two boys, neighborhood children, and a National Guardsman, Eugene Lemon. They grab a flashlight and head up the hill.
So now they're not just observing something. Now they're actively going to find it.
They expect something to be there. As they reach the hill, they see a pulsing red light. Mists hang low to the ground. Then Eugene Lemon raises his flashlight. The beam catches something. They stop. A figure tall, around 10 feet, glowing, spade-shaped head, bright eyes, a dark, almost metallic body, long arms ending in claw-like shapes. And one detail that keeps appearing, it didn't walk. It glided.
And that detail is very specific.
Then it hissed. A strong metallic odor filled the air, and a group ran. Later, several reported nausea, vomiting, throat irritation. Kathleen May even sought medical attention. Investigators arrived. Reporters followed. Other nearby witnesses reported lights. Something reported smells. Some reported sounds, but only the group at the hill described the creature.
So now we have two possibilities. Either something was there, or something was interpreted as being there. This is where two psychological ideas become important. The first is top-down processing. When sensory information is unclear, the mind uses expectations to interpret what it sees. The idea goes back to the work of psychologist Frederick Bartlett in 1932. He showed that people don't just remember what they see, they reconstruct it using mental templates. In his famous War of the Ghosts experiment, participants read an unfamiliar story, and when they recalled it later, they unknowingly changed details to fit what made sense to them. The mind didn't record the story, it reshaped it. And that same process can happen in perception. When something unclear appears in the dark, the mind fills in the blanks, using expectation. The second idea is threat amplification. When something might be dangerous, your mind exaggerates the threat to protect you. This connects to research by Kahneman and Tversky, especially their 1979 prospect theory paper. They showed that when people face uncertainty, they don't stay neutral. They lean toward the safer assumption. If something might be dangerous, the mind treats it as dangerous because evolution favors false alarms over missed threats. It's better to mistake a shadow for something alive than to ignore something that actually is. So when the group saw something unclear on that hill, top-down processing could shape what it looked like, and threat amplification can make it seem larger, more defined, and more dangerous.
So these could shape what they perceive.
Yes, but they don't automatically explain it away. They give us two possible paths. First possibility, there was something ambiguous on that hill. Mist, light, shadow, movement. The group expected something unusual. Top-down processing filled in the gaps. Head, eyes, arms, shape. Then threat amplification made it larger, more dangerous, more alive. In that scenario, the Flatwoods Monster isn't something they found, it was something their mind constructed from uncertainty. But there's another possibility. Something really was there. Something tall, something moving, something unfamiliar. And the witnesses perceived it correctly. Top-down processing didn't invent the creature, it helped them recognize it. Threat amplification didn't create danger, it correctly signaled that danger might exist. In that case, top-down processing and threat amplification didn't create the monster, it helped them detect it.
And the gliding, how does that fit into both possibilities?
The gliding detail is especially interesting because it works both ways. If nothing unusual was there and the movement was unclear, the mind may have filled in the gaps. In low light with mist and only a flashlight beam, you don't see continuous motion. You see fragments, a shift, a silhouette, a change in position, and the brain connects those fragments into a smooth path. That smoothing can remove footsteps, remove joints, remove mechanics, until the movement no longer looks like walking, it looks like gliding. But there's another possibility. If something unusual actually was there, and it really did move in a smooth, continuous way, then the witnesses may have perceived it accurately. In that case, the gliding wasn't created by the mind simply reported what it saw. So the same perception, gliding, can come from two sources, the mind filling in ambiguous movement or something actually moving in a way that looks like gliding.
So then, what about the nausea and the sickness?
Now that's something I'm not an expert on, but if I had to speculate, fear alone can cause that. But environmental factors could too, or something in the air. Again, both possibilities remain open. The mind's measure on the Flatwoods Monster. Something crossed the sky. A group approached the unknown. They encountered something unclear and reacted with fear. Top-down processing shaped perception. Then amplification increased the danger, which leaves us with two possibilities. The mind turned uncertainty into a monster, or the mind accurately recognized something real.
And more than 70 years later, we're still left with the same question. Was the Flatwoods Monster really in the woods?
Or was it in the mind's interpretation?
Because when the human mind meets the unknown, it doesn't just see it, it decides. Next time, we stay in the Appalachia, but this time, it isn't one encounter, it's dozens. November 1966, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Two young couples drive past an abandoned TNT plant, and something rises from the darkness, tall, winged, with glowing red eyes. They flee, but the sighting doesn't stop there. More witnesses, more reports, more fear, and soon an entire town begins to feel watched. They would call it the Mothman.
But when people start expecting something, when every shadow could be wings, when every light in the sky feels like a sign, what are they really seeing?
A creature? A warning?
Or the moment when uncertainty spreads and takes flight.
Thanks for listening to Monsters and the Mind. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Igor.
And remember, until next time, keep it creepy.